Good evening, this is GCN English News Edition, and you're watching with me, Ninghoy Kim Kongsai. First, the headlines. SSDCA condemns the LA's attack on Kuki villages located in Fringe area. Manipur Violence Inquiry Commission's gas extension till November 2024. CRPF officials visited Kuki relief camps in Kangpokpi district, assess displaced families' needs. News in detail. On September 11, 2024, between 1:16 a.m. and 2 a.m., suspected personnel of Kakching Police Commando around Baitingal and People's Liberation Army (PLA) carried out a coordinated attack on the villages of Dongzang and T. Lailoi Pai in Sangaikot Subdivision, Cherichampur. With this regard, the Sangaikot Subdivision Chiefs Association (SSDCA) issued a press release stating the attack involved firing several rounds of mortar bombs and bullets, resulting in 7 bombs landing inside Dongzang village and causing damage to an empty residential house and other properties. The same combined teams launched another attack on Dongzang village on September 12, 2024 at around 2 a.m., causing panic and anxiety among the villagers. The SSDCA condemned the senseless act of terrorism perpetrated by Meitei warmongers, including state forces around Baitingal's People's Liberation Army and UNLF MPA. The organization urged the government of India to take action against the Meitei government and their militants, who have been intruding into Kuki-Zo territory and launching attack. The SSDCA also appealed to the government of India to grant separate administrations to Kuki-Zo community in the form of a union territory with legislature to prevent further ethnic persecution, aided the released. The Center on Friday granted time till November 20 to a commission of inquiry to submit a report on its investigations into the series of violence in Manipur that has claimed more than 220 lives so far. The commission, headed by former Chief Justice of Guwahati High Court Ajay Lamba, was set up on June 3, 2023. The panel, also comprising retired IAS officer Himanshu Shikhar Das and retired IPS officer Aloka Prabhakar, was mandated to make inquiries with respect to the causes and spread of the violence and riots targeting members of different communities which took place in Manipur since May 3, 2023. The Commission of Inquiry was supposed to submit its report to the central government as soon as possible, but not later than 6 months from the date of its first sitting. The first notification said the Commission will submit its report to the central government as soon as possible, but not later than 20th of November 2024. According to the terms of reference of the Commission of Inquiry, it would probe into the sequence of events leading to and all the facts relating to such violence, whether there were any lapses of derelictions of duty in this regard on the part of any of the responsible authorities or individuals, and adequacy of the administrative measures taken to prevent and to deal with the violence and riots. The inquiry by the Commission shall look into the complaints or allegations that may be made before it by any individual or associations. According to June 4, 2023, notifications of the Union Home Ministry, large-scale violence broke out in Manipur on May 3, 2023, and as a result, many residents of the state lost their lives and several others got seriously injured. Their houses and properties were burned down as a result of arson, and many of them were rendered homeless, it has said. The notification said the government of Manipur recommended on May 29, 2023 for the institutions of a judicial inquiry commission to look into the causes and associated factors of the crisis and the unfortunate incidents that happened on May 3, 2023. And afterwards, under the provisions of the Commissions of Inquiry Act 1952, on the recommendations of the government of Manipur, the central government is of the opinion that It is necessary to appoint a commission of inquiry for the purpose of making an inquiry into a definite matter of public importance, namely incidents of Manipur in violence, it has said. Manipur has been witnessing sporadic violence ever since ethnic clashes broke out on May 3rd last year. The ethnic violence broke out after a tribal solidarity march was organized in the hill districts to protest against the Métis community's demand for scheduled tribe, as the state does. More than 220 people were killed and thousands rendered homeless in ethnic violence between the Imphal Valley-based Métis and the adjoining hill-based Kuki-Zo group since May last year. DIG Manish Kumar Sachar of the Central Reserve Police Force (CRPF) visited a relief camp in Kampungpi district, where approximately 100 families from the Kuki community are currently residing. During his visit to Songpezang camp in Cycle Hill town, Sachar interacted with community representatives to understand their situations. Speaking to news agency, Sachar reported that the displaced families' primary desire is to return to their normal lives without fear of attack or threat. He emphasized the CRPF's objective to help these families safely return to their homes and restart their lives as soon as possible. We are identifying their farms and taking them there, Sachar stated, highlighting efforts to reconnect the displaced with their livelihoods. The visit comes amid ongoing tensions in Manipur. On September 11, Sachar had assured that the situation was under control following fresh outbreaks of violence. He noted that security forces, including CRPF, Assam Rifles, and Manipur police commandos, were deployed at key checkpoints between Kuki and Métis areas to prevent unauthorized entry and maintain peace. On September 13, 2024, the MSME DFO Imphal, Ministry of MSME Government of India, organized an Entrepreneurship Awareness Program (EAP) at Kesalem Relief Camp, Churachandpur District, Manipur. The program was attended by Samuel Lungdim, MCS Assistant Commissioner, Churachandpur District, Mallory C. Sangliani, GMDIC Churachandpur, Chief Manager SBI Churachandpur, Baltunung Vaipi, Associate Professor and EDC Center Head, Churachandpur College Autonomous, Ketiana, Chief of Kesalem Village, Churachandpur, Klunga Hosel, Secretary, Hill Tribes Mission, Reverend Mintang Swantak, Chairman, VCC, Hosel, Laltampuya, Social Worker, Sekungam, Sitotang, Freelance Consultant. The program was hosted by Hill Tribes Mission India, Churachandpur District. The Hostel Assistant Director, MSME DFP Imphal, delivered the keynote address, followed by a speech by Reverend Mintang Swantak, Chairman, VCC. The report on the program was presented by Baltunung Vaipi, Associate Professors and EDC Center Heads, Churachandpur College Autonomous. The program also included a panel discussion with Sekungam Totang, Freelance Consultant, SBI Chief Manager, Churachandpur, Mallory C. Sangliani, and Samuel Lungdim, MCS. The program concluded with a vote of thanks by Huanga Hosel, Secretary, Hill Tribes Mission, and a closing remark by Reverend Mintang Swantak. A total of 25 participants, including 12 women and 13 men, attended the program. Two persons were killed and 35 others, including police and administrative personnel, were injured in police firing, and classes went on ongoing evictions drive to remote allies illegal settlers from government land, turning violent at Kachutali in Kamrup Metropolitan District of Assam on Thursday. According to officials, the incident happened when hundreds of alleged illegal settlers attacked police and administration's personnel present at the site, located around 45 kilometers from Guwahati, with sticks, stones, daggers, and sharp weapons. The deaths took place when police resorted to firing in retaliation. The two deceased, identified as Jubahir Ali, 22, and Haider Ali, 19, who has sustained bullet injuries, were rushed to Sonapur Government Hospital nearby, where they succumbed to their injuries. The injured among police and administrative personnel include the Circle Officer of Sanapur, Nitul Khataniar, Deputy Commissioners of Police is Mirnal Deka, and 8 women constables. Today, the government officials, including on-duty police, were attacked by sharp weapons and stones were pelted at them, obstructing them in government duty and causing grievous injuries with deadly intent. In these 22, government officials have received injuries, including grievous injuries. Assam Director General of Police DGP GP Singh posted on X. He added that following the targeted attack by miscreants, police also resorted to authorized use of force following due process, in which 13 persons were injured, of whom 2 have been declared dead at the hospital. Guwahati police have been directed to identify all the miscreants involved in the attack on government officials and take lawful actions. Due statutory processes are being followed regarding use of force by police. Proper treatment is being provided to the government officials and others injured today, Singh said. According to police, revenue authorities of Kamrup Metropolitan District have been carrying out evictions proceedings from the government land in the notified tribal belt of Sanapur Revenue Circle since September 9, following laid-down processes. During this process, 248 bighas, 155 acres of government land have been cleared of encroachment, removing 237 illegal constructed structures in the tribal belt built by people not authorized to build such structures. The process, which local administrations claims was carried out after giving notices to the settlers, had passed smoothly in the past 3 days. The eviction strife was going on peacefully, and those getting evicted were also cooperating with the authorities with a request to give them some time to collect their belongings and valuables. But instead of that, when on Thursday, the authorities tried to use excavators to bury household goods of those getting evacuated, people got agitated and tried to chase away policemen. That's when the firing started, say Rahim Ali, 26, a truck driver who is a resident of Kachutali and a relative of the two deceased. While authorities maintain that the encroachers had settled in the area in recent years, several of them claim that they have been residing there for decades, and some have even purchased the land from the previous occupants. Rahim, whose family of 14 comprises his parents, 4 brothers, and their families, says that his family came to the area in 2002 from Darang district after their land got eroded in floods. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee announced on Friday that the state government will provide 2 lakh compensation to the families of 29 people who died, reportedly due to lack of treatment during the ongoing strike by junior doctors. It is sad and unfortunate that we have lost 29 previous lives due to disruptions in health services because of long-drawn ceased work by junior doctors, Banerjee wrote on X. In order to extend a helping hand to the buried families, state government announces a token financial relief of Rs 2 lakh to family members of its deceased person, she added. The junior doctors have been on strike since August 9th, the day a postgraduate trainee doctor's body was found in the seminar hall of Arzikar Medical College and Hospital in Kolkata. As per the autopsy report, she was brutally raped and murdered. Junior doctors continued their protests in the rain outside Swasthya Bhawan in Kolkata's Salt Lake area. Junior doctors in Kolkata have written a 4-page letter to President Draupadi Murmu seeking her intervention in the murder and rape case. The letter, written by West Bengal Junior Doctors Front, was also sent to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar, and Union Health Minister J.P. Nadda. We humbly place the issues before your esteemed Excellency as the head of state, so that our unfortunate colleague, who has been the victim of the most despicable crime, shall receive justice, so that we, the healthcare professional under the West Bengal Health Department, may be able to discharge our duties to the public without fear and apprehension, the letter read. The doctors expressed that the president's interventions would be a beacon of light during these difficult times. They say that there is an atmosphere of fear and distrust, who has forced them to avoid working in hospitals and seek alternative ways to provide healthcare services. The latter comes a day after Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee urged the protesting doctors to return to work, saying, "I am ready to resign as Chief Minister if needed. I want justice for the victim, but I am also concerned about the public getting medical services." Three terrorists were killed on September 14 morning in an overnight encounter with security forces in Jammu and Kashmir's Baramulla district, police told PTI. They said a cordon answers operation was launched in Chak-Tapar Kari in the North Kashmir district's Patan area late Friday night. The operation escalated into an armed confrontation after terrorists fired on a search party of the forces, who then retaliated. Security forces maintained their positions throughout the night. In the morning, an exchange of gunfire occurred, resulting in the death of 3 terrorists. The identity and group affiliations of the slain terrorists are being ascertained. This comes as Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to launch the pool campaign trial in support of his party candidates on September 14. Beginning with a large-scale rally in Jammu and Kashmir's Doda district, the event will take place under heightened security measures. This will be the first visit by Prime Minister to Doda in the last 42 years. Authorities have implemented a multi-layer security setup across Doda and Kiswar districts with special focus on the rally venue. The stadium in Doda town, where the elections event is set to take place, is under particularly stringent protections. These measures have been put in place to ensure the rally proceeds safely and without disruption. Prime Minister Modi will hold his first elections meeting in Doda tomorrow. This will be a significant event as it marks the first visit of any Prime Minister to Doda in 42 years. The last prime ministerial visit to Doda was in 1982. State, Union Coal and Mines Minister and BJP elections in charge of Jammu and Kashmir, G. Kishan Reddy, on Friday. Elections in Jammu and Kashmir will be held in 3 phases on September 18, September 25, and October 1. Union Home Minister Amit Shah announced on Friday that the central government has decided to rename Port Blair as Sri Vijayapuram, stating that the decision was taken to free the nations from colonial imprints. Port Blair is the capital of the Union Territory of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, inspired by the visions of PM Narendra Modi to free the nations from the colonial imprints. Today, we have decided to rename Port Blair as Sri Vijayapuram, Shah said in a post on X. The Home Minister explained that the previous name had a colonial legacy, while the new name, Sri Vijayapuram, symbolizes the victory achieved in our struggle for freedom. Andaman and Nicobar Islands have an unparalleled place in our freedom struggle and history. The island territory that once served as the naval base of the Chola Empire is today poised to be the critical base for our strategic and development aspirations, he added. Shah further highlighted, it is also the place that hosted the first unfurling of our Tiranga by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Ji, and also the cellular jail in which Veer Savarkar Ji and other freedom fighters struggled for an independent nation. Several senior BJP leaders, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, welcomed the decisions on social media platform X and shared their views. PM Modi wrote, "The name Sri Vijayapuram honors the rich history and heroic people of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. It also reflects our commitment to break free from the colonial mindset and celebrate our heritage." Union Health Minister J.P. Nadda wrote, "The previous name carried echoes of colonial rule, but every mention of Sri Vijayapuram will now serve as a tribute to the resilience and sacrifices of our freedom fighters who fought to dismantle the shackles of colonial operations. This renaming marks a significant step towards embracing a future free from colonial imprints. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma wrote, "Today is a historic day when we are renaming Port Blair as Sri Vijayapuram. This is a big step towards connecting with our cultural heritage under the leadership of respected Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji." Goa Chief Minister Pramod Sawan wrote, "This is a commendable step, a move to rid our nations of its colonial legacy. The remaining is a powerful tribute to the indomitable spirit of our freedom fighters and honors the pivotal role that the Andaman and Nicobar Islands played in our freedom struggle." Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami wrote, "The naming of Sri Vijayapuram is dedicated to highlighting the historical importance and glorious traditions of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The work of freeing the country from the symbols of slavery is commendable." Iran-backed Lebanese faction Hezbollah fired some 55 rockets towards the northern Israeli city of Safed and surrounding areas on Saturday morning, according to Israel Defense Forces (IDF). The attack from Lebanon consisted of 2 barrages, with around 20 rockets launched in the first wave and about 35 in the second, the Times of Israel newspaper reported. While many of the rockets were intercepted, some landed in open areas, marking fires but causing no reported injuries. The IDF confirmed that they responded shortly after the attacks by targeting the rocket launchers in southern Lebanon. Rocket sirens sounded in Safed and multiple nearby communities, alerting residents to the incoming fire. The area has experienced ongoing rocket fire throughout the morning. On Friday, the Israeli army took reporters to tunnels uncovered by troops in southern Gaza, including the entrance to the underground chamber, where the bodies of 6 Israeli hostages killed by Hamas were recovered on September 1. The military did not allow reporters into the tunnel in the Tel al-Sultan area of Rafah for security reasons, but it has released footage showing a cramped and airless passage it said was some 20 meters below ground, where it said the hostages had been held possibly for weeks. "There is a complete maze of tunnels here in Tel al-Sultan," Israeli military spokesperson Daniel Hagari told reporters, standing next to the shaft leading down to the tunnel, located in what appears to have been a child's room in a destroyed house. "We need to do everything we can, by all means, to bring them back home," he said, referring to 101 hostages still being held in Gaza. The Israeli military has said the 6 hostages were killed on the night of August 29th and their bodies were recovered by troops around 2 days later. The Tel al-Sultan tunnel is part of what the military has said is a large network uncovered by Israeli forces operating around Rafah, near the border with Egypt. Troops have uncovered around 13 kilometers of underground tunnel routes over the past few months, the army said this week. Apart from rare visits escorted by the military, foreign media outlets have not been allowed to enter Gaza since Israel invaded the enclave after the Hamas-led attack on October 7th that killed some 1,200 people, according to Israeli tallies, and saw more than 250 taken hostage. Much of Gaza have been destroyed in the Israeli campaign, and most of the 2.3 million populations have been driven from their homes. More than 41,000 people have been killed, according to Palestinian Health Ministry figures. Hamza bin Laden, the son of Al-Qaeda chief Osama bin Laden, is alive and leading the terror outfit, according to intelligence reports cited by the Mirror. Hamza is secretly running Al-Qaeda from Afghanistan along with his brother Abdullah bin Laden, the publication says in an explosive report. The National Mobilization Front, NMF, an anti-Taliban military alliance, also carried a report detailing the operations of Hamza and his associates. The outlet said that the man dubbed the Crown Prince of Terror is hiding in northern Afghanistan under the constant protections of 450 snipers. The NMF has warned that since the 2021 fall of Kabul, Afghanistan has become a training center for various terror groups. Hamza bin Laden has been moved to Dara Abdullah Khel district in Panjshir, where 450 Arabs and Pakistanis are protecting him, it said, warning that under his command, Al-Qaeda is regrouping and preparing for future attacks on Western targets. The NMF report contradicted claims that Hamza was killed in 2019 U.S. airstrike. Hamza is believed to have worked closely with Ayman al-Zawahiri, who took over the affairs of Al-Qaeda after Osama's killing. The news about Hamza's killing was released after his audio and video messages surfaced calling for the attacks on the U.S. and other countries. However, the place and date of death was unclear, per an old BBC report. The Pentagon too did not comment on the issue. Hamza bin Laden was officially designated by the U.S. as a global terrorist and was believed to have been under house arrest in Iran. He is thought to have been born in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia before spending years with his mother in Iran. Hamza's father, Osama bin Laden, was killed by U.S. Special Forces in 2011 in a compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. He had approved the attacks on the U.S. on 11 September 2001, in which nearly 3,000 people were killed. The United Arab Emirates would seek to revive a multi-billion-dollar deal with the U.S. for F-35 warplanes and armed drones if Donald Trump wins a second term as president in November. Several people familiar with the matter tell Reuters. The UAE has long shown the most advanced fighter jet built with stealth technology, allowing it to evade enemy detections. If the U.S. did approve the transfer, the UAE would be only the second Middle East state after Israel to operate F-35 fighters. Trump had signed off on the deal in the final days of his presidency in 2021, but the UAE suspended talks by the end of the year, unable to agree terms with the Biden administrations. Three sources say that if Trump was re-elected, the UAE would seek to resume talks, asking a new Trump administration to fulfill the original agreement. One of the sources say that the UAE would ask a new Trump administrator to honor the 2021 deal. Trump approved the $23 billion deal, which include MQ-9 Reaper drones and munitions after the UAE established ties with Israel in 2020 under an accord brokered by his administrations that made the UAE the most prominent Arab state to forge diplomatic ties with Israel in 30 years and handed Trump a significant foreign policy achievement just a few months out from the elections that he would ultimately lose to Joe Biden. But after months of discussions, the UAE announced in December 2021 it has suspended F-35 talks with the Biden administration, citing sovereign operational restrictions, among other reasons. The Biden administration responded, saying it was ready to move forward. The process has remained paused. The political upsurge in Bangladesh that led to the ouster of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has resulted in incidents of violence against minorities, particularly the Hindu community. Since the fall of Awami League government on the afternoon of August 5, at least 1,068 houses and business establishments of the minority community have been reportedly targeted and amazed in communal attacks. Of the 1,068 houses and business establishments that were attacked, the owners of at least 506 were involved in Awami League politics, according to a report by Bangladesh Daily Pratham Alo. Apart from that, at least 22 places of worship have also reportedly come under attack. The report said that most of the attacks took place in the country's southwestern division, Khulna, where around 295 homes and business establishments of the minority community were destroyed. At least 219 houses and businesses were also targeted in Rangpur, 183 in Mymensingh, 155 in Raisani, 79 in Daga, 68 in Barishal, 45 in Chattogram, and 25 in Sylhet, the report said. The intensity of the damage varied at different places. The attacks reportedly began on the afternoon of August 5 and were more frequent on the first 2 days. Further, the report said that at least 2 people from the Hindu community were also killed in communal violence in the country. One of the deceased was Mrinal Kanti Chatterjee, a retired school teacher who was beaten and hacked to death on the night of August 5th in the village Chokto Paikpara of Rakhalganchi unit in Bagarhat Sadar. His wife and daughter were also reportedly injured in the attack. The other deceased was Wapan Kumar Biswas of Paigacha in Khulna. He was beaten up, tortured, and killed on August 8 while on his way home. Citing a report by the Bangladesh Hindu-Christian Bodha Okya Parishad released on August 20, Prothom Allo reported that minorities in Bangladesh faced over 200 incidents of violence in around 50 districts after the fall of the Hasina government on August 5th. Apart from Hindus, other minorities were also targeted in Bangladesh in Hasina's ouster, including the Christians, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, and members of the ethnic minority. Citing figures provided by the Bangladesh Christian Association, the report said Church of Bangladesh in Nowgaunt, the Evangelical Holiness Church in Dinajpur, the collection booth of the Christian Cooperative Credit Union in Manipur, and 3 Christian houses in Grenadi of Barishal, 1 in Khulna city, 1 on Halwagat of Mymensingh, and 1 in Parbatipur are among the establishments that were targeted by miscreants. A status of Mother Mary was also reportedly damaged in Nazipara missions in Thakurgaon, and threats and attempts were made to attack a number of missionary schools and colleges. 18 soldiers died due to flooding water in Kayat state of Myanmar. 18 soldiers of the Karani Armed Resistance Force are reported to have died as a result of falling into a flooding water in their jungle cave in Kayat state of Myanmar. The victims are from the medical unit of KNDF and accidentally fell into the flooding water during a training, KNDF says. The Karani Armed Resistance Force, also known as the Karani Nationalities Defense Force, KNDF, is an anti-junta resistant group that has been engaged in conflict with Myanmar's junta regime following the illegal military coup by the junta. According to Karani People's Voices, KPV, some of the victims did not know how to swim, for which they were easily taken away by the flooding water. Republican U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump said on September 12 that he will end all taxes and overtime pay as part of a wider tax cut package if he is elected in the November 5th elections. As part of our traditional tax cuts, we will end all taxes on overtime, Trump said in remarks at a rally in Tucson, Arizona. Your overtime hours will be tax-free. Trump, who faces Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris in what polls shows to be a tight race, has previously said he would seek legislation to end the taxation of tips to aid service workers. Harris has made a similar pledge. He is desperate and scrambling and saying whatever it takes to try to trick people into voting for him, a Harris campaign spokesperson said in response to Trump's proposal on Thursday. At a campaign event this month with union workers, Harris accused Trump of blocking overtime from millions of workers during his 2017 to 2021 presidency. In 2019, the Trump administration issued a rule increasing the eligibility of overtime pay to 1.3 million additional U.S. workers, replacing a more generous proposal that had been introduced by President Barack Obama, Trump's Democratic predecessors. The Trump administration raised the salary level for exemptions from overtime pay to $35,568 and a year, up from the long-standing $23,660 threshold. Workers' rights groups criticized the move, saying it covered far fewer workers than the scheme introduced under Obama. Under Obama, the Labor Department proposed raising the threshold to more than $47,000, which have already met nearly 5 million more workers eligible for overtime. That rule was later struck down in court. Overtime pay at these income levels overwhelmingly benefits blue-collar workers, such as fast food workers, nurses, store assistants, and other low-income employees. The people who work overtime are among the hardest working citizens in our country, and for too long, no one in Washington has been looking out for them, Trump said on Thursday. Under Labor Department rules, eligible workers must be paid at least time and a half for hours, work about 40 hours in a single work week. A Chinese reusable experimental spacecraft, believed to be the country's secretive space plan, had landed back on Earth after more than 8 months in orbit, the latest development in a largely covert race between the United States and China to hone such technology. China's spacecraft blasted into orbit last December, 2 weeks ahead of the latest launch of the U.S. military's own Boeing X-37B uncrewed space plant on the third known orbital missions of such a Chinese spacecraft. Some 268 days later, the spacecraft returned to an unnamed landing site, according to a brief September 6 announcement from state news agency Xinhua, which declares its space mission a complete success. China's development of the vehicle, about which little is publicly known, comes after recent years of striving to catch up to the U.S. along the world's preeminent space power for dominance in orbit and beyond. The term space plant often evokes NASA's space shuttle, which flew 135 missions from 1981 to 2011, carrying astronauts into orbit and helping to construct the International Space Station. It might also recall the Soviet Union's ill-fated Buran space shuttle, which completed one successful uncrewed flight in 1988 before being discontinued. But the newer planes currently being tested in orbit by the U.S. and China are believed to be the smaller than the shuttle and uncrewed. The U.S. X-37B is operated by the military, while China has not said whether the program believed to be linked to its recently landed spacecraft is civilian or military. That's all from us tonight, and we thank you for joining our program.